The 92 Dream Team beats Greece by 60. Even the B team should have beat them by 30. Needless to say, the Americans are going to lose again. Count on it. They've already lost twice. They're having close calls against Greece. Of course they're going to lose again. Not a good effort. Other Olympic news, other basketball news. Hey, check this. Very interesting. It's getting ugly between Yao Ming and Chinese officials. Chinese officials are furious with Yao for blasting his teammates for their play. Chinese officials are accusing him of disloyalty to China's Olympic team. It started after China got hammered by Spain 83-58 in their Olympic opener Sunday. After the game, Yao cracked on his teammates for quitting. He even hinted that he would stop playing for China's national team. Quote, "I'm disappointed in my teammates. We gave up at the end of the game. I don't think some of my teammates cherished the honor to play for the country. Were they nervous, or would they just not take their responsibilities? We gave up easily every time we came across obstacles." Quote unquote. Yao getting after his teammates. Meanwhile, Chinese officials were furious when they saw that. According to reports, they were said to be, quote, strongly dissatisfied and very angry with Yao. One official was quoted as saying, "How could he say that? How could he say that other players weren't trying their best? Any irresponsible speech like his, any action to split the team is definitely forbidden. This is the national team. This is the Olympics. Any word by a player can affect others and create difficulties in future matches." End quote. How good is this? In effect, Chinese officials are blaming the U.S. for corrupting Yao and giving him, quote, American personality habits. They feel that when he first got here, he was, quote, an obedient child with a, quote, very good reputation. Finally, one official said, now he has changed. He's more like an American. He dares to say anything. Quote, unquote. Yeah, that's us. We corrupted Yao. We corrupted him by giving him freedom of speech. Classic. You mean he's got an opinion and he's not scared of you anymore? You mean he decided that democracy is a better system than communism? I think, Chinese sports official, you're confusing disloyalty with leadership. You got your butt kicked, guys rolled, and your best player stepped up and challenged them. Maybe where you live, that's disloyal and not acceptable, but where we live, it's actually admired. And if you really think that your guy is a traitor and a cancer, we will take him as a citizen. Because the last I checked, there weren't nearly enough guys in the NBA that were accountable or who cared. And don't get me wrong, he'll probably reach that level in another 3 or 5 years. As for now, he's got all the good American traits. Bad news, Chinese athletic official guy, you can't roll your tanks over Yao to muzzle him. He's got opinions, he's going to express them, and in his opinion, you're making him play with a bunch of chokers. Talk about that if you want. Yeah, I think I can do it. I think I can get through the entire Open with only Olympic notes. Here's another one for you. Beach volleyball players are complaining about bikini-clad dancers on the sideline getting their groove on during matches. The beach volleyball athletes think that it's insulting to them and damaging to their game. For instance, Australian beach volleyball player Nicole Sanderson said, quote, kind of disrespectful to the female players. I'm sure that the male spectators love it, but I find it a little bit offensive. End of quote. You know, it's almost too stupid to even mention. But I'm trying to get through the entire Open with only Olympic notes, so here it is. As far as beach volleyball players being offended, first of all, you play beach volleyball, so you can't get offended. Second of all, offended by what? These same dancers that are so damaging to your athletic cred are basically wearing what you're wearing. And as far as the male spectators probably liking it, why do you think the majority of those male spectators are even watching beach volleyball to begin with? Because of fit, athletic women in bathing suits, sweaty, fit, hard bodies, jumping up and down, rolling around in the sand, and getting up and hugging each other. I've seen less sexual content on Cinemax late at night. Beach volleyball we're talking about, right? Not only should there be dancers on the sidelines, I'd roll out the keggers, the barbecues, and the boom boxes and turn it up a notch. Memo to beach volleyball player concerned about her and her sports integrity. I don't really know how you were invited to the Olympic Games to begin with, but I do know this. What you think really doesn't matter to anybody. Be glad that anyone is watching you for any reason. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it through the whole Open with only Olympic notes. How about Olympic gymnastics? You watch that? Not a lot of people there. The athletes look suicidal. Not a lot of joy in the arena. Nor are there very many fans in the arena. There it is. The entire Open on the Olympics. Don't tell me I don't care. I'm going to get to the Dodgers. I'm going to get to the Cubs. I'm going to get to Mark Teixeira hitting for the cycle. I'm going to get to Jarrett Wright not having a very good night last night. I'm going to get to the Olsen twins and their dorm room. I'm going to get to Andy Dick going insane in a club. Andy Dick did? No way. Theo Spikes, later this hour. Brian Dawkins, next hour. Khalil Green, next hour. The telephone number is 1-8. Not playing very much so far for the Eagles, but he's still very bad, man. He hurts people. And Khalil Green is, without question, one of the more different, certainly one of the more spectacular players defensively in Major League Baseball. Different cat. Great guy to watch. We'll have that for you in hour number 2. One phone line open, 1-800-636-8686. I want to talk about Darren Dreifort, now reportedly down for the year. All of a sudden, he's got a knee injury that's going to knock him out for the rest of the season. I'm not saying he's not hurt. I mean, if he says he's hurt, he's hurt. But the timing is somewhat coincidental, don't you think? Somewhat curious. But then again, he does have the credibility in that he's always hurt, so he probably is hurt. I'll get to that in a minute. We didn't spend a lot of time on the Cubs yesterday, and I've got thoughts on Chicago that I want to lay out there and I want to get your thoughts on. Have you ever seen a more paranoid group or a group with more excuses than the Cubs? Take, for instance, the following with Kerry Wood. Kerry Wood began serving a 5-game suspension for rushing an umpire recently. Dusty Baker, his manager, did not think that the punishment fit the crime, and he says the Cubs are being unfairly singled out. This is Dusty. Quote, "It seems like we're sort of victimized by having a lot of fans who are into it a lot of times. Well, what if you don't have a crowd? Do you get a different suspension?" End of quote. What he's saying is because you've got fans at Wrigley that are so into it, that are so fired up, that it looks a lot worse than it really is. And it's not just him saying it. Kerry Wood said the same thing. Wood said, quote, "I've seen a lot worse get a lot less days. Inciting the crowd, in my opinion, that's the reason I got suspended. I wish we had been on the road, and then it wouldn't have happened. I'm a competitor, and I was out there in the heat of the battle. It's human nature to get upset about it." End of quote. First of all, Kerry, you weren't on the road, you were at home. And if you think it's going to look that much worse at home because of how your fans are going to react, then you better stay the hell in your shoes. Don't do it if you're at home. Don't do it anyway. But if you know that to be true, don't do it. If you know that's the way it's going to go, you have to check yourself. That one's on you. Don't say you wish you had been on the road. You knew where you were. Secondly, guys have got to stop hiding behind this heat of the battle nonsense. Everybody wants to win. Everybody competes. You're not a rookie. Keep your head. You're in a pennant race. You can't be getting suspended this time of year. Wood did. LaTroy Hawkins did. Moises Alou got himself kicked out of a game recently. They're not keeping their heads, and it's hurting them. And this, to me, is the key point. I'm not saying don't be competitive. I'm not saying don't play with fire. I'm not saying don't play with passion. What I'm saying is play with your brain. Playing with fire doesn't mean you can't play with intelligence, that you can't think your way through something. Saying that you got caught up in the moment means that you lost your head. It doesn't mean you're competitive. It means you weren't thinking. There isn't a single reason the Chicago Cubs should not win the wild card. Look at their team. They're better than the Giants. They're better than the Padres. They don't have any excuses. Stop being so paranoid. Stop thinking the world's out to get you. Stop getting suspended. Stop getting kicked out of games. Stop blaming the media and everybody else for all of your problems. Do your jobs. Oh, one more thing. Stop kicking the ball all around the infield. Nomar booted another one last night, and it cost him again. Cubs fan, you took yesterday off. I'm going to invite you back in today. What do you think about all that? They've got an excuse for everything. They point the finger at everybody, never look in the mirror. The umpires are out to get us. We've been unfairly singled out. You know what? If you don't rush the umpire, you probably won't get suspended. You got too many guys who matter getting suspended and getting kicked out of games too late in the year.